There we go. Hi everyone. Welcome to Odd to the News. My name is Maria. So I thought I'd make a little video and say hello to everyone and just repeat the news because it's heartburn, right? And gotta repeat that heartburn, have a little odd every now and again. Just my take on the news. And take a break from crocheting. um, so I'm taking a little eye break, hand break, arm break, neck break. And just heard President Trump and President Macron from France kind of like tallying up the G7, finalizing what all went on. But some of the things I found interesting in the news during this whole G7 process was the whole Donald Trump on the way to the summit saying, well, we're going to get Germany and France to start paying up our companies, or else we're going to tax them like they've never been taxed before. And whenever he says that, I'm like, oh, it just hurts my head. Okay, so first he said, we're going to tax, if they don't take care of it, we're going to tax French wine. And we'll tax them like they've never been taxed before, and we'll do more. And Germany's next, Germany will tax the cars and the computers and everything that comes from Germany. And it hurt my head. It really does hurt my head. It just and somebody at the press conference today, a female reporter, I can't remember her name, stood up and said, Mr. President, are you going to reconsider taxing French wine? It seems your wife was really enjoying, the First Lady was really enjoying her French wine at the dinner. I love it. Because I thought, man, he better buy a case of French wine now and German wine and everything for Melania now. And Ivanka, because they're going to have to put up with him. And Kellyanne Conway, too, because I can tell she likes her beer and her wine, her German beer and her wine. She probably likes it all, right? Get to just buy it all now. So now they're saying negotiations are underway. China's rethinking. It's looking good. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. President Macron sounds like he's whipped. He sounds like Trump said, you take the fall for this, you explain it. He's just kissing up to Trump. It's incredible to watch, okay? For me, it's kind of incredible to watch. Because Trump also said if last week or earlier this week, no, it was as he was leaving. Did he say it as he was leaving? No, I think it was earlier this week. There's so much news. He said, if Germany and France don't do something about the ISIS fighters that we've been having to take care of, because it's not our responsibility. We caught them here, but they're being held by us, but it's not our responsibility to take care of them. And Germany and France better take these ISIS fighters back and do what they need to do, or come up with money to take care of them and help. Or I'm going to release them to Germany and France where they came from. Who says they're going to release ISIS terrorists to another country without being a totally dangerous globalist, nationalist, and anti-globalist nationalist, what I want to say. A very dangerous dictator. You know what else dangerous dictators say? We're going to keep people at the border indefinitely, children, and it's going to show people not to come over. And meanwhile, while we separate them, detain them indefinitely at the border, we're not going to give them flu shots or inoculations. So if they get sick, oh well. What was it? 4 to 7 children have died of the flu. We're not going to. Maybe if they lose, maybe if they lose enough, they'll realize not to bring their children over. birthright citizenship, you can't just cross a border, have a baby in another country, and then say that person has a birthright. If you're born in Italy, you're born in Italy. If you're born in United States, you're born in United States. If you're born in Spain, you're born in Spain. So if the baby is born in the United States, you most certainly do have a right to say you're a U.S. born citizen. Okay. Then he did something that was very, very sneaky, but he did it in the open, an open secret, and nobody was really paying attention to it the way they should because we were being distracted by Donald Trump's Access News, Donald Trump and Stormy Daniels, Donald Trump and Michael Cohen, Donald Trump and McCain, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Sessions, Donald Trump and everyone, okay? The Russians, Donald Trump and everything. When he got into office, after being in office about a year, first he did the Muslim ban, but then he went after the Temporary Protections Act, which actually Ronald Reagan had the idea for as a humanitarian effort for 6 countries that were under distress and that people would want to flee for violence, war, poverty, and all kinds of ick. El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Sudan. Again, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, and Sudan. Those 6 countries were given special protection status, temporary. Okay. So he came up with the idea, Ronald Reagan. George Bush Sr. put it into, he put the plan into motion and made it an act, a status. So people started coming over, 18, 20 years ago? Left all over, but mostly El Salvador. And in the United States, there are tons of El Salvadorians who have not been back to El Salvador in 20 years, have homes, jobs, education, making their own way, citizens, everything. Their children were born here. Their children are 13, 14, 15 years old. He said 19 months ago, in 18 months, the temporary is over with and those people are being deported. So there is I believe she's 12 or 13 years old, a young lady who is suing the president for trying to deport her mother. Now, I don't know the reason she didn't go through with complete citizenship, but what the daughter is saying is, I'm going on 13, I think 13. I've never been to the country she came from. I don't know that country. She hasn't been there in 18 years. We have a home. She works as a special education teacher. We're not leaving. Okay, this has been going on, and it's happening now, and there are people protesting, but it's not getting enough news coverage. So he's trying to end birthright citizenship, squash the people that came over from those 6 countries, and deport them within 18 months of when he signed it. He signed a bunch of things. Signed the Muslim ban, signed the this ban, that ban. But he signed the end of that. And what he said says right on it, it's temporary. It's temporary. Okay. Then he made a little rule that anybody coming over from any migrant who can't prove, this is what he's trying to do, who can't prove that that they actually can sustain themselves the time that they're in the country and provide for themselves a living, or they don't have a trade, or they're not highly already educated with a career that they can use. So only the wealthy can come from war-torn, poverty-stricken countries. People are fleeing poverty, war, and devastation of the violence. There are tons of people that have awesome jobs, but they cannot even go to their jobs because of the violence around the area. There are people that are just not showing up for services for people. So there are people that are highly educated in another country. They have a career. They can't get work in their career in that country. So what he's saying is, okay, if you're highly educated and you have a career and you've already got college degree and you're trained and you can show that you've already got experience in that field, you can come to America. Everyone else, too bad. And I was listening to the Cuccimelli or whatever, Cucchimi, whatever, can't say his name, Ken Chimelli, whatever, of the deportation and immigration and all that. And basically he was changing that little poem, give us your tired, give us your weary, give us your poor. He was on the Statue of Liberty and he was saying, give us your tired, your poor, your weary, if they can take care of themselves only. Yeah. Okay. But then there's this little tidbit that just blows my mind continuously. Is that at the G7, which is the G7 because Putin isn't there anymore, but Trump wants Putin back, then it could be the G8. He's just not invited. Okay, but I think he's strong-arming. I think he's working with French President Macron, and he's getting in with German. He's getting in with Merkel and all. He's going to talk them into getting Putin back to the table, so it could be the G8 again. Whenever they show a picture of President Trump at the table at these state dinners, excuse me one second. Okay, sorry. So whenever I see Donald Trump, President Trump, I don't like to call him President Trump. I just call him, Donald Trump, the guy who's acting as president right now. He's pretending. I don't like to call him president, but I respect the office of presidency. Whenever they show a picture of him at these summit meetings, and everybody's sitting around the table, his hands are always like this. His hands are clenched on the table, or he's ready to. Everybody else is sitting there waiting for something to eat. They all have their water glasses a little closer to them, their wine glasses, their plates about them. They want to eat. These are dinners, luncheons, breakfast. He's just there to do business, and his napkin is rolled up in front of him like, I don't want anything. He does working lunches and whatever, but what they showed today is that for all of the global warming gatherings at these summits, he is a no-show. That is because Donald Trump doesn't believe in global warming. It's a waste of his time. The Amazon is on fire. The rainforest is on fire. Now, okay, to be fair, some of that is global warming, but they are saying that some people have started fires. I don't know who in their right mind would start fires in the Amazon, but when they find them, they better really, because that is the lungs to the world. They got to really stop that. They got to have people, I don't know, all over the place guarding the Amazon. But it's been horrible to watch. And we can't deny that what's happening in Iceland, and I mean, polar bears are like, could you give me a piece of ice to float on, please? It's global warming. By April, I'm in upper western New York, and April used to be a time of when you could still catch some snow, sure. Um, but you didn't get snow one day and 80 degrees the next. We've been getting warmer and warmer. Everyone knows we're getting warmer and warmer. It's pollution. We gotta work on it. We gotta work on it. And he's gotta understand it's real. There is seeding of clouds that goes on everywhere. Nobody denies it anymore. There are chemtrails. They do spray crap all over, pesticides and insecticides, and yes, they seed clouds to make storms. So some of it is man-made, yes, but a lot of it is just all the mass production and pollution and waste dumps and all of it. Okay. But what's come out today is that, and it's not new news, it's old news, but it is real news, is because it was put into writing by the president as a plan. It was made writing for history. When Puerto Rico was being faced with Hurricane Maria, and all of that devastation was going on, and it was just getting worse and worse. This was in the beginning of his presidency, 2016-17. He actually sat around with everyone, this is Donald Trump, the president, and said, well, couldn't we take care of the hurricanes that are coming at the United States and Puerto Rico right now by sending a nuke into there? Couldn't we nuke the hurricanes? Just nuclearize the winds. Just send a nuke missile into those nasty clouds and it will stop them. He didn't just say it. He acknowledged, okay, I thought that might work. I'm just floating an idea. This is the guy with the football box that does, oh, red button, I think I want to nuke you. I'm sick and tired of the media and everyone else. I think I'll nuke you. Bunch of hurricanes coming at us. Maybe I'll send a missile. I want to compete with Kim Jong Un, little rocket man. Let me try this missile. Not good. He is continually walking back everything he says. I could be sitting right here. You could be sitting right here listening to your TV, wherever you are, listening to your TV, and a person can ask him a question and he will answer it. And then later a spokesperson, and mostly himself, but lately he's been sending spokespeople out to say, that's not what he meant. It was misunderstood. That's not what he said. You misreported that. You misrepresented what the president meant. Okay, I do believe the president has been speaking out of 5 sides of his mouth and flip-flopping all over the place. And I often wonder, why are you trying to talk to him, all you press people, and pressing forward on the White House lawn? Because he was given a marathon of crazy-making behavior on the White House lawn before he left for the summit. Because he didn't really want to go. So he was kind of pissed off. So, just pissy pants. Didn't want to go. Waste of his time. Just waste of my time. China. Nothing good is going to happen with a trade war. Tariff taxes, hiking them up, trade wars, nobody wins. Go to your local under the $5 store, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Family Dollar. Go to Big Lots, Walmart. Go to your grocery store. Take a look. Look at what's from Mexico. Look at what's from China. Look at the price hikes already. Okay, but he's going to go into not only your computer tech stuff from China, But Germany, cars, wine, food from Mexico, it just goes on and on. And again, he can detain families in the detainment centers as long as he wants. No accountability, no flu shots, no inoculations, no extra care. Don't want to make it comfortable for them. They may not be criminals. They may have done everything right. They came across the border the right way. It's just not going to process them. They're still sitting there. Don't take your eyes off that. The people are still sitting in detainment centers. And the timing of the ICE raid in Mississippi was disgusting. Disgusting. And all the ICE raid threats that stressed people out, but he cares about mental health? Okay. People had just died in El Paso from a man who targeted Mexicans, who targeted brown, cappuccino, different shades of brown colored skin people, but wanted to make sure he really looked at them good because he didn't want to get all Hispanics because some of the Hispanics worked good. The other ones were just lazy. So he was going after Mexicans. Yeah. So after that, and then Dayton, Ohio, which we know it had to do with something, a long-standing problem from what we know from the news, where this guy may have gotten an inclination that I can get away with, but he had planned, he got the guns, the ammo, and everything from a friend. You really gotta wonder what's up with that. But he had long-standing mental health problems. He had made hit lists, kill lists, rape lists, and he was intent on being violent. The man in Dayton, Ohio. The man in El Paso, that was just pure evil hate, and he knew what he was doing, and that was not mental illness. That is not mental illness. That is white supremacist. But what was worse than that was ICE deciding to round up 600 plus people in companies that hire undocumented people and not charge the companies, but deport, separate, arrest the workers, but not charge the companies. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is still employing undocumented workers everywhere, from Mexico, from China, from everywhere. But I don't think Donald Jr. and Eric are getting charged. And aren't they in charge of the business now? Isn't it Eric and Donald Jr. that took over the business? So I'll bet if you go to Mar-a-Lago, Trump Tower, you're going to find a ton of undocumented workers there. No problem for the people hiring them knowing they're undocumented. Just punishment for the people. Just saying. It's kind of like a reverse universe, and then add to it that his campaign manager and chief advisor, Kellyanne Conway, the strong woman behind him, is calling everything else alternative facts. Alternative. If anybody tries to give them straight up news, it's an alternative fact. It's fake news. Okay, whatever. Okay, Sean Spicer is going to be on Dancing with the Stars. I think it's great. I think he danced to the tune of Donald Trump so well, and he was dancing around fire for so long that he learned some good moves. Okay? I think he was so disgusted that he had to lie from day one and say, oh yeah, we really did have crowds from all the way out there. We had the biggest crowds in history for the inauguration, and you're just not. I mean, I think from that day forward, Sean Spicer was constantly always doing a little jig, and now he's just like, you know what? I learned so much from that. I want to go dance. Life is short. I'm going to go dance. Good luck. Have fun. Go dance. I wish him well. I feel bad that he never got to see the Pope because that's what he wanted to do. But Donald Trump is so sadistic, he knew. Sean Spicer's really Catholic. He wants to go to Rome and meet the Pope. I'm going to leave him home. That's when it all went downhill. Okay. What else? What else? What else? Jeffrey Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell, Madam, some say, gal pal, ex-girlfriend, business manager, personal manager, recruiter, pimp, co-criminal cohort, perv. She's been called everything. Well-educated, Oxford educated and trained, can fly a 747, Boeing 747. She can fly that. She can fly a helicopter. She can operate a submarine. But was she floating on a submarine like everybody thought? She could be hiding out on a submarine somewhere. No. She was hiding out in plain sight in Manchester for 2 years with another CEO, entrepreneur, businessman, who just platonic relationship. And when Jeffrey Epstein went to jail, and people started seeing in the neighborhood of Manchester cars around their house, just sitting there looking, and then helicopters around that house, she took off. And she was spotted by the New York Post reporters in Los Angeles 4 days after Jeffrey Epstein died of an apparent suicide, which nobody believes he killed himself, but still being independently investigated. 4 days after he died, she went on the run because they were going to go after everyone. And Ghislaine Maxwell is a main figure. Robert Maxwell's daughter, many people think she's an operative of the Mossad, and her father was too. And even Jeffrey Epstein, we don't know. But what does she show? She shows up in Los Angeles, just sitting at a table outside of an In-N-Out burger joint with her dog, reading the book, I think it was Honor, I want to say what the name of the book is. The Secret Lives and Deaths of CIA Operatives. I think it's by Ted or Kevin Cupp. I don't know the name. Go look it up. The Secret Lives and Deaths of CIA Operatives. Big hardcover book. It's all about the code of honor, how people loyally die for the country. Like Jeffrey Epstein died with all the information. Or her father died with all the information, because this is what people are speculating. What are the odds that Ghislaine Maxwell, daughter of Robert Maxwell, who, by the way, died on the yacht, Lady Ghislaine, that he named after his youngest daughter, who he was closest to and adored. Okay? He was found face down, nude, in the ocean, and they thought he fell off his yacht and had a heart attack. That was in 1991. And she left 3 days after her father died and went to New York and met Epstein. She left. She left Britain. She had been living in Britain. Right after her father died, right after they buried him, she left. She made a little speech to Spain and to the Coast Guard and everyone that helped to find him, his body, and then she booked and went to New York. Became a socialite, met Jeffrey Epstein, started hooking him up with socially high-profile people and living off his money then. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. But she was at an In-N-Out burger joint in Los Angeles. So the New York Post reporter actually starts snapping pictures of her and observes that she must have been eating a single patty burger, because if she had been eating a double patty In-N-Out burger, the wrapper would have been a different color. And she definitely was having a milkshake, because the cup was yellow and the milkshakes are served in yellow. And she wasn't having a fancy fry because it was in a regular fry. So she was eating French fries, a single patty, and a milkshake. But next to her was a red cup, and on the table were 2 cell phones. But she didn't appear to be with 2 people, but she was with her dog. And she actually walked up to the reporter and said, "I guess I won't be eating here again," and left. But did they follow her? No. Did they pick up the phone and call the FBI and say, "Hey, you know that chick, Ghislaine Maxwell, you've been looking for everywhere? Disappeared off the face of the earth. Everybody's like, is she in a submarine? We all live in a yellow submarine. Is she off the grid? Where is she?" No, they don't call. They just become thirsty and get the news. So they get pictures of her eating her burger, looking up from her book, the name of the book, Secret Lives and Deaths of CIA Operatives. Yeah, there's that. Okay, so that's all. That's all the news I got today. And again, Donald Trump, in the beginning of his presidency, when Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Maria and all these hurricanes were hitting the U.S. and then Puerto Rico, he actually sat around and said to everyone, and it was written down, the president suggests, what would happen, would it help us to nuke, to throw some missiles out there? Just keep that in your noggin, okay? This coming voting season. Meanwhile, Little Rocket Man in Korea is throwing insignificant little missiles up in the air, but they're not intercontinental ballistic missiles, so it's okay. They're just normal testing missiles. But what do you think that's doing to global warming? What do we think that's doing to our environment? To keep throwing missiles into the ocean. Eventually there's going to be tsunamis. Yeah, tsunamis. And we're going to wonder, what caused that? We need to do better. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened had we really ended up with Al Gore as president instead of George Bush. Because you all remember what happened there, right? Florida. Listen up, Florida, and all you stupid stand your ground people. That's whacked. That's whacked. Okay? Al Gore was the clear candidate choice, and he's a smart man. And he was talking about this long before anybody else was talking about this inconvenient truth. And I just wish they would get Al Gore back to the planning table. I have no idea what he's doing now, but I'll bet he's got some great ideas for global warming, for how to fix all of this, just to begin in small ways. Every human being, starting with us not using straws, plastic paper, plastic. So many things. The cleaners we choose. There's so many things we can do differently. The type of fuel and energy we use. I just think it's incredibly bizarre that his thought was, hey, We can see the clouds. We can do chemtrails and spray plants. Can't we just throw a nuke up there and it'll interrupt the storm clouds and make the hurricane stop? Can't we just break up that cloud by nuking it? Never mind nuclear fallout. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. I'm wishing everybody a really beautiful end of the summer. I will be making a video over on Awesome Astrid Mosaics and Flower Species channel, which are my other two channels, because it is my 10-year anniversary this Labor Day weekend of going off all opiates and pain medicines that I was on for 30 plus years. Strong opiates. And I want to give hope to people to know that you do not have to go into a rehab. If you do, it's your choice, but you don't have to. You don't have to swap up to another drug. You can really, especially with God and determination, you can get off any drug you are on. I don't care how many years you've been on it or how many you've been taking. You can taper off or you can cold turkey some of them. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that process, what it did to my body, the difference that I felt, but without giving any more money to pain clinics, rehabs, therapy forever and ever, or thinking that your brain is diseased or changed because you were on opiates. It's not. It's not. It's an adjustment. It takes a long time for your body to adjust. I'll talk about that in another video, but I want to do a 10-year anniversary video and just tell you that if you are somebody who had chronic pain, illness, or something happened and your doctor prescribed unwittingly strong opiates and you started chasing your tail because you got caught up in the hyperanalgesic effect of it where, they made an end-to-end plan. We'll make it addictive, and then we'll make a drug to make it non-addictive, and then we'll make money from people we send to the pain clinic, and then we'll make money from people we send to rehab. Okay, so it's all an end-to-end plan because pathology makes profit. So I'll be over there doing that video later this week, and just sit and talk about a few notes that I jotted down in the past 10 years, and how my body has changed. And my mind too, my emotions, my health, all of that. So, because it does change a little bit of, you might come out of it a little angry. You might come out of it a little resentful. You might come out of it realizing that you let a lot of things go while you were medicating your pain. That you let a lot of things go that needed tending, and now you're angry with yourself and you're angry with everyone else that told you were sick and you needed that medicine. So, I'll be talking about that over there. But my main message is just keep moving forward. Life is too short to move backwards. But like a car rocking in the mud, sometimes you gotta go backwards to get forward, to go a little more forward. Oh, I just saw the most beautiful bird. A beautiful red bird just flew by and a yellow bird. We never get those kind in our courtyard. Sorry. Distraction. We got rabbits. We got a family of 5 rabbits. We just had a really pretty, I don't know what they're called. They travel together. They're really fat breasted and they have yellow and black wings and they have stripes in them and they're about this big and they kind of just bounce and then glide and then bounce together. They fly together, and then there's a really pretty orangish red bird flying around it. Really gorgeous. We've had some really pretty dragonflies. Normally we get what I call the drone flies. They're nasty. They're just plain, kind of like a dark brown or almost a black. And they don't flutter, they just chase and bump into you. And they're aggressive. If you're walking in one direction, they will turn around and go backwards at you. So I call them drone flies. But then we do get some really pretty dragonflies, which are, I think, the normal dragonflies that just, they make all those fun maneuvers in the air, but they don't, they actually land, and you could see all of their little wings flutter, and they're pretty. Oh, there goes the other birds again. We got some really pretty nature stuff happening in our courtyard right now. So we've had dragonflies, rabbits, we've had squirrels, we've had some crows, we've had some hawks, some ravens, and some really pretty birds. And our normal resident rodents that come out different times of the year. We have a couple of possum running around. I don't know how they're all competing out there, but they've been doing a lot of work with hedges, like cutting all the hedges and getting trees cut back and doing the stuff you do in the autumn. And so we've been seeing all our little critters out there. The other day I watched a rabbit making a hole, and I had never seen this before up close, and I was trying to get a video of it. I guess the male rabbits are kind of more scrawny looking and move faster, and the female rabbits are always kind of bigger because they're pregnant. they don't have as much, and the male rabbits have flatter tails. And this male rabbit was making a home for the little family, and there were a bunch of little tiny rabbits running around, and the mama rabbit was moving kind of slow. She was picking them up, and she kept dropping them in and then picking them up, and like they have their own little communication. It was amazing to watch. She picking them up, drop, and putting them alongside, and then he'd jump in the hole, and I always thought they burrowed this way, but he would lay flat like this and then flip over, like do a full body somersault, like laying flat, and then just, and his belly was white, and so every now and again you see his little feet go, and he'd twirl like this. And he had me laughing so much because he would jump back in the hole, do his little somersaults, and then he'd get a little tired. He'd just lay there like this, like, and his white tummy would show, and then he'd dig his little back feet in, flip around again, and the mama rabbit would kind of come up and look, and he'd jump out, he'd look around, and then he'd jump back in, and then eventually she brought all the little babies and put them in. Like she wanted that to be a deep enough surface, and he just kept spinning himself around to get it deep enough. And then once they all got in there, then he was the one that came out and with her and was like bringing the dirt all on top of them. It was hysterical to watch and really needful. It was fun to watch. The simple things in life. So get away from the news every now and again and just go watch life unfold and how simplistic and beautiful it is. And the best way to do that is to do that with nature, I think. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Don't let the news give you agita. Just unload it. Have a nice belch, and you'll feel better. Take care. Bye.